Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. There was a nice little 8-round tussle for the WBO Youth Super Featherweight title between a couple of undefeated fighters. Royston Barney-Smith came in with 10 wins, no draws, no defeats, 5 KOs. He's from, I think, Southampton, or he lives in Southampton, or I tie Southampton in with him somehow. I think that's, he boxes out of there. He's from there. But a lot further away was his opponent, BRIAN BARAJAS, who came in with 7 wins, no defeats, and 1 draw, 3 KOs. He's from Colombia, so he travelled all the way from Colombia to fight at the O2. Nice little 8-round tussle. Came to win, gave as good as he possibly could. You know, I had Royston Barney-Smith winning this 78-74, which tied in with 2 of the judges. I think it was pretty obvious that Barney-Smith won this fight. But don't underrate Barajas' effort, because at 23, Barney-Smith, by the way, is only 20, and there was some talk of him going to the Olympics at one point, but he turned pro instead. But Barajas at 23, hardly ancient himself. Both these guys have a future if they want it, if they want to live the life and work hard. But it was the southpaw Royston Barney-Smith who, for me, won this fight. Not easily. It was competitive. The rounds were competitive. Barajas, orthodox fighter, came forward, slinging a lot of, I'm tempted to say, uncultured punches. You know, they were a little bit wild at times. Barney-Smith showing that sort of amateur skill, lovely shape, good footwork, good balance, fired his punches very precisely, seemed to be trying to pick the right moments, which is always good to see in a young fighter who wasn't wasting punches. Can't say the same about Barajas, who would get, as soon as he got into range, it was bang, 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 and there didn't seem to be any great method to what he was trying to do. There was no, I suppose you'd call it ring IQ. It was a case of, I'm going to get into range and I'm going to let my hands go. And that's fair enough. You know, Barajas is, I mean, I didn't know anything about him coming in. But he has got wins against previously undefeated fighters on his record over in Colombia. This was his first fight out of Colombia. The last one was against a fighter who was 7-0. So, you know, you wonder about the quality of the opposition. But, you know, he'll learn from this, as will Royston Barney-Smith. In fact, Barney-Smith's record, if you look at it, it's full of journeymen. But you kind of knew that when he stepped up a few levels, it's only 20 for God's sake. If he stepped up a few levels, you know, yeah, he's got his natural talent. The raw materials are there, and he just needs the experience. He just needs to work out how he's going to put all that together. But it was a very good performance, a very cultured performance. Good, educated punches from Royston Barney-Smith. BRIAN BARAJAS, game as hell. There was a clash of heads, I think. Oh, no, God, I can't remember which round it was. Maybe the 3rd, 4th. A cut across Barney-Smith's left eye. I don't think it was on the eyebrow. I think it was just above the eyebrow, but under the eyebrow. Yeah, it was above the eyelid, but under the eyebrow. And it was, I don't know how deep it was, but it wasn't going right across the eye. But, you know, that sort of thing is a good learning curve as well, because you get a cut, you get a clash of heads, which is what happened. And suddenly you're like, okay, well, you know, I've got to navigate my way through this. It's all experience. And at 20, Christ, you've got all the time in the world, you know. He's a Queensbury fighter. We know how good Frank Warren is at bringing along fighters. You know, he's got this youth title now. You know, sometimes it's the old way was, you know, area level English, British, Commonwealth, European, world. You know, you gradually step up the ladder. But a youth title, yeah. You know, it's good. And he's fighting another young guy who's undefeated. So it's all incremental steps if you're working towards world level, which I think is what they expect Barney-Smith to be, you know, eventually world level. But he's got so many years to play with, you know, as long as he lives the life, don't get complacent. Listens to his trainers, works on things, he can have a fantastic career. And BRIAN BARAJAS, now that he's stepped out of Colombia, I just wonder if he'll get other opportunities, because he did show that he can be competitive. And he's only 23 himself. You don't really want a guy with ambition to go down the journeyman route. You want him to maintain the ambition and fight the very best. But, you know, he's got bills to pay. A lot of these guys from Colombia, they'll go abroad and they'll end up as journeymen or gatekeepers. And who am I to say don't do it? I mean, I'm not the one having to pay their bills, am I? But let me know what you thought if you saw this fight. Good little 8-rounder. Tell me what you think, and yeah, comments below as usual. And please subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff, hit the like button, spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing, and always much appreciated. Thank you very much. I'll catch you later. We've got more boxing to come. Bye for now.